Hi, I'm Yufan. I'm the creative director at Kozé. The creation of Kozé came about because as IDs we are interested in doing something unique, something different. Kozé sets apart from the rest of the other companies. I think we are largely based on a contemporary theme. We are open to have the amalgamation of different themes inside a home. We didn't do much for the bedrooms. They were all pretty well in shape, renovated over the last 5 years. So I think it's more of the living spaces, the kitchen, the dining area, the foyer area that was where we wanted to reinvent the entire experience for those that come, especially since there's a lot of hosting being done in this house over the weekends, even on the weekdays as well. So you have to enter the house, you'll feel that the house doesn't really scream a singularity theme. It's actually a contemporary look for the entire space. What we're actually blending in is a little bit of the Asian Oriental theme, which suits the older folks in the house. The Egyptian-inspired part of the house mainly because we have a lot of art pieces that we didn't want to go to waste as we renovate the entire space itself. So we're thinking about how we could blend Asian-based concept with a modern contemporary kind of look for the space. So at least it's timeless, and to put in this Egyptian art piece elements. So starting with the foyer area of the house, as you come in, first thing you will see is this arch-shaped tinted glass mirror. So of course, typical homes, we like to have a mirror right before we exit the place itself. We have a full-length settee bench as well that allows us to sit, wear our shoes right before we leave the house. Instead of going for an entirely full-height shoe cabinet, I left half of it in a 3/4 height portion so that I could display my bare bricks on top. To allow the house to blend in a certain way so that it feels like it's one entire set, the settee bench as well as the TV console is actually one entire piece. I think it allows my living room to feel a little bit more elongated. I didn't want the space to feel too compact. To make the living space a bit more cozy, of course, we add in the rug, and then we have a lot of plush pillows, as you can see. I think the main aim of the living room is to allow guests to sit around the spaces. We have kids coming over on the weekends, so I think it really helps when you have a softer touch into your living room. The balcony is an open space that blends together with the living room as well. So mainly for the dining area and the balcony, I wanted the color to have some sort of synchronization. As you can see, the walls of the balcony are green in color as well as the flooring itself. The stone tiles are washed up so that it looks a bit more raw. For the balcony lighting, we decided to do something special because I really needed a ceiling fan in that area. So having a set of track lights allows me to put it onto the beam itself instead of having it typically on the ceiling. So this way I won't have a shadow cast caused by the fan blades itself. At the same time, my balcony is well lit. So moving into the dining area, we are a little bit more focused on these areas because my family comes over to eat quite often. And for that, dining space needs to be built in such a way that is the key focal point of my house. There were a few art pieces that my parents wanted to showcase. So there was a specific light you can see that shines directly on top of the art piece itself. I think it really helps to accentuate the space for times like evening hours or night time, whereby we don't need so much lighting. The lights in the area, I didn't want it to be too crazy. You realize that there isn't a pendant light as well. I think the main aim is because I wanted to keep the focal point on the feature wall as well as the dining table. The dining table is a unique full marble piece, including a full marble base. This granite marble green look-alike table is something that we really wanted in order to accentuate that uniqueness of the dining space that we have. For the kitchen itself, we went for something a little bit more interesting. It sets itself apart from the entire house completely. We were a little bit more aggressive in terms of the color. We were going for orange tiled floorings in a raw, washed up finishing. You're greeted with a splash of colors. We have a nice almond color on the top cabinets. We have a nice misty blue on the bottom cabinet, and the Dectum worktop that we use really helped to blend the floor orange together with the worktop orange itself. functional spaces were very important to us. We do cook very often, and my mum is a big fan of having an island within the kitchen space itself, which helps to increase her prep counter space by so much more. The initial part of the house, we didn't have something like this, and it was really what she wanted on her wish list. As you can see, there's a clear segregation between the service yard area and then the wet kitchen and dry kitchen areas to really help to give the kitchen depth in terms of its entire look. We didn't want something very flat finish. Since we were already very aggressive in terms of the design, we wanted to just go straight for a wow factor. Being an interior designer for the last 4.5 years, I've learned something very important, which is the renovation process is being able to understand where the customer is coming from, and then throwing in our own ideas as well as designers, trying to blend two different worlds together. For those out there that are facing problems with their interior designers or facing problems with the renovation, I think the key is about communicating it right. Communication can really help to bring forth ideas, bring forth solutions that can really make the entire process of renovation a lot easier, a lot better, and a lot happier. I think lights are particularly important when it comes to the design space of a home itself. Mainly, we want to avoid shadowy spots. We want to avoid big rounded hamburger lights, which is the typical lights in the olden houses used to have. We really wanted to create a space that is evenly lit but just exudes a sense of warmth. If you have the wrong lighting set within the home, I think it could break whatever design concepts you really have within the space. The reason why I chose to go with Shiok Lighting, I think, is because they really helped me to plan out specifically within different areas what type of lights I could have. So as you can see, the house mainly does not have any false ceiling at all, so that puts the house at risk in terms of trying to even out the lightings within the spaces. But I think they recommended me a very good way to do it, which is to have track lights, essentially the Roma track lights, embedded within the living space as well as the foyer and then the balcony areas, so that we could adjust the lights accordingly in order to break out the entire space and allow the lights to be spread out very evenly.